Hi, it's Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial lawyer practicing law here in the state of New York. In just a few moments, you're going to hear from my client, Marcus Millard, tell you a remarkable story of what happened to him. Let's listen in.
My name is Marcus Millard. By the way, I'm allergic with lidocaine. There are two things that went wrong. Number one, they use the wrong needle in my neck, according to the anesthesiologist. The second thing they did wrong, they don't check my record to find out whether I'm allergic or not. And as a result, I passed out. I had a heart attack. I'm honored. And to me, it's a privilege to have someone so dedicated about his work. He proved to me that all the time that he spent trying to help me was not a waste. And I'm very grateful for that.
You've just heard from Marcus tell you in his own words what happened, but let me tell you the real backstory of what occurred here. You see, Marcus was going in for shoulder surgery. He had been having pain for a long period of time. And in preparation for the surgery, they sent him to pre-surgical testing at the hospital. And while there, he tells the physician's assistant, listen, I have an allergy to lidocaine. And they wrote that down. So now comes time for surgery. Mr. Millard is in the waiting area, in the holding area, right in front of the operating room. The anesthesiologist comes and talks to him. And by the way, Mr. Millard says, the anesthesiologist never asked me questions before he went ahead and gave me the anesthesia. The anesthesiologist, on the other hand, says, of course I asked him questions. One of the most amazing things here is that the anesthesiologist claimed he never knew that the patient was allergic to lidocaine. And so he goes ahead, gives him this cocktail of medicine in order to put his shoulder to sleep. And that included lidocaine. But here's what's amazing. The anesthesiologist goes ahead and starts to inject the medicine into the patient's neck. And immediately after removing the needle, what happens? The patient begins seizing. In fact, he has a heart attack right there on the table before the surgery even starts. And now they have to spend 10 minutes coding Mr. Millard to get his heart back because he was having a heart attack right then and there on the table. The anesthesiologist said two amazing things during the course of his testimony, his pretrial testimony. He told me, I didn't know the patient had an allergy to lidocaine. And number two, I didn't know that the hospital was using electronic medical records at that time. I thought they were only using hard copy physical charts. So I didn't know to look in the computer to see whether or not the patient had any other issues. I asked the anesthesiologist, I said, listen, if you knew at that time that the patient was allergic to lidocaine, what would you have done differently? And what he said was, I never would have given this patient the regional nerve block to put the shoulder to sleep. I never would have given him that injection. Instead, I would have put him to sleep. This way we would have avoided all of that altogether. And that's what's so incredible about this particular story. You see, Mr. Millard goes in for surgery, he does the appropriate thing, he goes for pre-surgical testing, he tells the doctors and the staff, I'm allergic to this medication. This anesthesiologist violated the basic standards of medical care by failing to know, number one, that the patient was allergic to a medication, and number two, failing to even know that there was more than one chart for this particular patient. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you a little bit of an insight and an understanding into what goes on in the litigation process here in the case involving an anesthesia mistake, an anesthesia error that was entirely preventable. You know, I realize you're watching this because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter happened here in New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. This is something I do every single day and I welcome your call. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's quick video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.